Am I streaming? Am I doing it? Oh my goodness. Live. Okay, so we're going live. I gotta make sure this is on. I hope everybody can hear me. Maybe I should do a test run. Let's try a test run. I got a few things I have to remember. This old brain got to put together. Okay, so let's see. Juju Woman is in the house. I finally got it right. I was copying the wrong stream code. Am I live? Juju Woman is in the house. Okay, so I need to switch this. I was in the middle at first. I hope I'm going live. All right. So here we are this evening. I'm just going to start talking because y'all, Juju Woman doing her thing. I can't hear myself, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and try to set us up this evening. Now, we're doing a live podcast, so y'all let me get on here with our live podcast as well. Trying to do a few things at one time and set it up so that it makes sense for everybody involved. All right, so let's do the live podcast, and here we are in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're just in time for the Christian Witch Connection podcast with your podcast host, JL Song, the Maven, and welcome to the CWC Book Club show. This is where we are reading, we have the book club read called The Demonology of King James the First by Donald Tyson. So that's our book club read, and I welcome you to Thursday evening. This is August 6th, 2020, and as I like to say, the 2020 year is full of surprises, very full of surprises, but we're going to keep moving right on along. So the surprise that I have, of course, is that I am on a live podcast this evening. And the basic premise of what I'm trying to get done here is that I am able to have some folks kind of chime in. I'm going to see if I have anybody out there. And those who have, now let me just say this. Let me put this on out here. Those who have actually read the book. Okay. Y'all, I want somebody who has read the book. The Demonology of King James the First. And by Donald Tyson. So I want to have that dialogue. Everybody. So basically, that's what's going on. And I hope you're well. We're in the summertime. Summertime. Yes, we're into the summertime right now. And no, I'm not trying to look spooky pooky. Because I have put myself in a position of now getting a better chance of just getting some word out there, channels out there, and I just have to do stuff that makes me comfortable. So it makes me comfortable to bring in my energy into my, my pyramid here, and also have my eyes, my seeing eye, my all-seeing eye directly above me, and all that good stuff, so that I can get all that I need right now to bring these messages forward as I channel. So let's get into, hopefully I can find someone out here who wants to be a part of this, let me see here. If we have some viewers, if you want to, if you're reading tonight, if you're actually reading The Demonology of King James the First by Donald Tyson, that's our book club read. This is the podcast, and it's a live podcast this evening. So let's get a chance to kind of dive right in, hopefully. Let me remove my Bluetooth because I was actually listening to some things here as I got on to this show. And I really do hope that we can get some people tonight. But be it as it may, we're going to keep it rolling right along. And then we're going to get to this book club read. So let me just say a few things. I always like to start off with my disclaimer and some kind of way within my introduction whenever I'm getting to the CWC Book Club show. But the introduction that I want to give tonight is really geared toward the start of the introduction is geared toward people who are new to spirituality, new to Bible Magic 8 TV, new to the platform of the myself. I am a grassroots metaphysician. I am a prophetess. I also am a medium, a channeler, a diviner. What else you want to say? Priestess. And I am also one considered to be a spiritualist, and all of the above. Let's just put it that way. So this is my background. This is my bloodline. This is that spans, like that invisible thread I always talk about, that spans between generations. I have it on both a maternal side and a paternal side as well, for both my mom and my dad. So this is something that I really get into, and it's like I said, it's bloodline, and it's something that I've had experience with for over 30 years, directly, meaning actually practicing, and whether it be loose practicing because it's just part of my everyday life and existence, or actually cognizantly practicing, meaning that I had spells and things of that nature that I was participating in, and sacred rituals, and all of the above to participate in. So that's what I do. And I always want to say, put a disclaimer out there, if you are not used to the paranormal, if you are not used to spiritualism, mysticism, the occult, voodoo even, voodooism, if you're not used to those type of spiritual practices, then I would say that this would not be the show. This is not going to be the show for you, because I get heavy off into that. It is my background. It's where I grew up. It's what I've known for many, many, many years. So please know that this is not against you. I want everybody to participate. However, I know that there are aspects of what I do that is really not for the novice or someone who is a beginner. So I try to make sure that everyone knows in up front what is going on. So needless to say, this is a way to kind of segue into many aspects of who I am and what I do. So with that being said, let's get into this show. Hopefully, now there's one other part of that disclaimer that I like to say. Hopefully you will have someone who is actually experienced, I like to say experienced, licensed, or certified as someone who deals in spiritualism and the like, so that they can, if you have questions, you can go to them directly. If you start feeling uncomfortability, if you start feeling a sense of something that doesn't quite feel right in your mind, body, spirit, soul, and heart, then you can go to this person or people, and you can speak to them and then explain things, and then hopefully they are someone who, there's people who love you, a person or people who love you, who have your best interest in mind, and then they will be able to help you through the experience. And then of course, as I always say, you can send questions to me here, either in the comments or message me. I usually try to drop my email address in the description of the video, under the video. I kind of stopped doing that because I started getting a lot of people, that wasn't really needing help, but you know how that goes. However, just leave some comments. I think it's better to monitor that way. And then I have some ways of getting in contact with you, so through the actual description box. So it's really on me to talk about that more so, because I'm going to get a lot more into the spiritualism and the aspect of what is considered, and I say spiritualism because I'm trying to keep it universal, trying to keep it to something that is now current, that the popular culture really has knowledge of, and I'm also going to use some of our more ancient words for things and descriptions, because I want to make sure that I'm bringing forward all the things that need to be brought forward so that we can get what we need in this time and era. So we are not leaving things behind because it makes some people comfortable or whatever the case might be. So that's what's going to happen now, is we're going to have more of a explanation of spiritualism, and we're going to have more of an explanation of the things that were ancestral, bring it back forward, because it's going to come full circle. And we know about cycles. Those who are into occultism as well, I didn't mention occultism when I was talking about the list of things of the spiritual aspect of what I share and what I've experienced. But all of that, please seek out someone who can help you if you have uncomfortability. So I want to put that disclaimer out there, because as we move forward, we've had, when I say we, I'm talking about the spiritual collective more so. I'm talking about people who have a background in spiritualism. So if we are going to teach this, those who are in the what I call the spiritual collective, the conscious community is something that's really popular too. But lately I've been saying the spiritual collective. If we're going to be teaching these type of things and sharing our experiences, our wisdom, and our knowledge, then we need to have some type of accountability for the knowledge, in meaning that we are able to explain to people how to get some help. Because what is happening to a lot of people is that they're having to go to the emergency room. They're having had bouts with using psychotropic drugs. And I'm never going to say that you shouldn't follow your doctor's orders. I'll never say that. But these experiences that you're having, a lot of them are spiritual experiences that you need to be able to get a grasp of and come to the knowledge of what it is. And when we give you these explanations, meaning those who have background in spiritualism, I think that things will come home for you. They will come full circle, as I like to say, and then you'll be able to deal with things a lot better. So in a more stable and healthy manner when it comes to mind, especially, and spirit, but mostly mind. People don't believe what you're experiencing. They don't believe you're having dreams. They don't believe you're seeing certain apparitions, what they call paranormal activity. They don't believe you. And when you don't have a belief system, when you don't quite get it, then you can be left out there to feel that you're losing it, as people like to put it. So when I start talking about demonology and angelology, again, for that matter, please know that this is not meant to be spooky. This is actually a spiritual aspect for me. The prism magic I talked about previously, I'm using that for channeling purposes. So this is not meant to be spooky. I would like to explain things. That's one thing I think is helpful. Why do I wear a head wrap? It is not meant to be spooky either. This is actually for myself, because when I come into a spiritual place, when I'm channeling, I like to remind myself that I'm in that spiritual place. This is about remembrance for me. It's about tradition as well. And I like to do that. I also have certain jewelry on. This is actually symbolism of my charm bracelet. I have some symbols going on with that. Mostly the tree, the roots of the tree, getting back to even Genesis, and that's ancestral spirituality. I also have my all-seeing eye represented here, so I don't know if you can see it well. So that's something that I have here for spiritual purposes. So I have my they say 360 degree vision, all-seeing eye, all-seeing, all-knowing, all feeling. So I like to represent that. So these are representations. These are things you don't really need to have these certain things going on, these jewelry and everything, but it's to help my physical self link with my spiritual self so that I can have reminders. That's all it's about. So just to kind of give you that knowledge and wisdom. And then also I have my Nefertiti earrings. So I'm bringing in some of the ancestral spirituality. This is not for spiritual purposes or channeling even. It's just because I like the reminders. I try not to do too much channeling. And I'm going to put a link down for who made these beautiful earrings. One of my really, really much loved queens, goddesses out there. Mwah, love you. Thank you so much for these earrings. I appreciate it. And we'll put a link down there. She is really good. So I want to make sure that you see that link later on. Now, getting back to the book club read. The reason why I wanted to spend some extra time is that because now I'm going to start sharing a lot of things that is more ancestral, more traditional spirituality, and it's really tied into a voodoo, as you know, as voodoo and spiritualism, and the mounting of spirits and the or housing of spirits that has been going on for hundreds of years, definitely within this country, over 400 years, and then for thousands of years. So as the daughter of a priestess, as of priestesses, I'm able to give you some insight. It's not going to be all the secrets, of course, but it's insight to help you through this spiritual experience that a lot of people are going through right now. So, and have been going through with 400 years in this particular country throughout the diaspora. So people are waking up. People need to have more explanations of what they've been experiencing. So the reason why I'm reading this book club read, the Demonology of King James the First by Donald Tyson, is because I want to segue you into spiritualism. I want to segue you into the aspect of what demonic mounting is, what demonic housing is, whether you know it or not, or whether you are aware of it. I want to get you into that aspect of it. And I have the lights down low for another aspect, so it's not about spooky pooky. I don't want to be looking spooky pooky up in here. I always want to put that out there. It's because I'm going to be doing some more theatrical things later on with the book club read and the dialogue of our Philomathus and Epistemon. So I had to put the lights down low, like for instance when you're in a theater. So technically I guess I should have waited until I actually got to the point of of doing the acting, but either way, that's kind of why I'm doing it. So before we go into though, every Thursday I have a Throwback Thursday. Again, I want to just mention that I was supposed to have this on not the last Thursday, and I apologize. I had another event come up, so it was pressing, so I did not get a chance. So I always like to apologize if it was any inconvenience. But I'm back, so I want to get this going tonight, and get a chance to kind of share and have people to come in when they're able to, and then we can kind of get this dialogue going. So here we go. I want to get into my Thursday throwback. Okay, so Thursday throwback is going to go into a little bit of what we're doing tonight. The Throwback Thursday is going to be about the Christmas pageants. Does anyone remember Christmas pageants? And the reason why it's really ringing home for me is because my acting background within high school. I did it in my high school years, and I was a Shakespearean thespian. And my mom was a playwright in our church, and she was the one in charge of like the Christmas pageants, the Christmas speeches or pieces. They used to call them Christmas pieces. And as Mama Oprah told us that, and I didn't know why they called it pieces, but Mama Oprah shared that they used to be on pieces of paper. And I do remember that they were on little pieces of paper, and you had to remember your Easter piece or your Christmas piece, and then recite it in the pageant or whatever. So I just want to throw that out there. That's my Throwback Thursday adage, and I love it. My next thing I always like to give is some type of word, and it doesn't have to be ancestral, but just something that we can move forward in our experience. I don't want to talk about the experience tonight because I want us to kind of get away, and we're in our summertime and a lot of people are vacationing. But I want to just remind you guys of, this is kind of a fun thing. I like to bring fun things up during this experience. It might be fun, but some people might say eek. But when I was a little girl, we used to catch fireflies. I don't know how many people remember that. Catching fireflies. This is a part 2 of my Throwback Thursday. Catching fireflies and then trying to get enough to bring them into your bedroom and then have it light up the room. That's just one of my things. But the adage I have for that in catching fireflies, know that a light is more than just a light outside yourself. Okay, a light is also a light inside yourself. And when you're able to shine that light and help yourself and others, it really helps us tremendously. So just remembering that and allowing yourself to be in that moment with yourself at this time, shining light on yourself, going to those places where you can think about light, and light meaning the lightness of your person, your spirit, a room, even a lighthouse, somewhere where you can go and find refuge or peace and harmony and safety. So think on those things at times when you're feeling a little bit out of sorts. Think on the light and being in light, and having light as a knowledge base as well. So coming into the light. So when we talk about light, or even when we say in the beginning there was darkness, and then God said let there be light. Okay, so what is light? Light is our way of connecting with a higher purpose and source. So to that I say Ashe, and I'll just leave that with you so that we can keep ourselves grounded, and then also keep ourselves spiritual minded as well, so that we can be okay in our experiences. So we are on Thursday, August 6th, and 2020, and the year 2020 is full of surprises. I always say that. So other than this live show, there was a well, to keep it light, there was a wonderful show on Disney. I was going wondering was I going to say Disney, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. But on Disney, and it was a live album, and I love it. It's a visual album by Beyonce, and I always talk about Beyonce, and guys, I'm gonna keep on talking about Beyonce because she's doing our spiritualist thing, and she is definitely a spiritualist after my own heart. She brought in the beauty of Mother Africa, and she showed us that beauty, and she went all out. I don't even think she had a budget on this here thing, because she went all out, you guys. And I want to, folks, I just want you to keep a remembrance of that, those who have that heritage and those who don't. Beauty is great in anything. I mean, I know that people have certain experiences and they believe certain ways about Africa, and then the spiritualism that came from Africa. Well, I would like to say this. Sometimes when things are vilified, and it's vilified for a long period of time, especially for hundreds of years that we've experienced, you can tend to kind of want to shy away from it. But I must tell you this. If you get a chance, and if you have not had a chance, but when you get a chance, if you could please view the visual album. It's worth the little money. I think it's like, I paid $6.99. And this is not a plug for Disney, because of course, like I said, I do not have a sponsorship. They are not paying me to do this, but I love it, and I think it will help so many people to watch this particular visual album. I promise you, if you watch this visual album and you have any idea that Africa is evil, and spiritualism of Africa is evil, I think this will be able to change you, but it might not. Some of us, it might be able to change, but some of it is, our perspective of Africanism and spiritualism from Africa. It might change you to believe that, okay, this is beautiful, or it might not. You might still see it as, evil and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? We're getting to the place where there's a big line that's being drawn in the sand between those who are gonna follow through with what the new era is bringing us, and then those who are not, and we're going to be at peace with that. I believe that the 2020 year is going to be able to be that dividing line. Something about this year, definitely with all of the experiences, some people are going to come on board and they're going to bump against the wall, and then some people are going to keep on going through to the next side, and then whatever that has to offer us. So be that as it may, we can't get caught up and hung up in that particular experience for people. So we got to remember that we all should be, I like to say, respect the mantra. That's one of my things I love to say, respect the mantra. Some people don't ascribe to the whole aspect of African spiritualism or spiritualism as a whole, and that's okay. But everyone has their chance to be who they were meant to be in this land. That's my belief. So if you were meant to be in this land and believe that there's some beauty in spiritualism of Africa, and those who are a part of it, and good. If not, then we appreciate you. This is not the place for you. Definitely, you're in a position where you can move forward, and you'll be okay, and I'm sure we'll be okay. So it's all right. But you must realize that the Disney visual album of Beyonce, it's called Black is King. It came out on July 31st, and it's still going. The visual album is beautiful. The symbolism is beautiful. It pulls in a lot of spirituality that is a part of the ancestry of those who are from that land, even whether in part or completely. Meaning your DNA has some strands of that African heritage. Some people say African Americans. There's also Afro-Brazilians, Afro-Cubans, Afro Creole, you name it. I mean, there's that whole aspect of it, whether you go from African American or you say Afro. But what it is talk about the blackness in you, blackness within, the drops of black blood that you have within you. So it ties us back into that whole aspect of the beauty of that, bringing beauty back to that, and then also bringing the knowledge of the spirituality. Now you're going to hear them talk about Orisha within the Beyonce visual album. You'll hear her speak of Orisha. She likes to give this dialogue, which is really great. And this is going to tie back into the book read in just a moment. I know I'm spending some extra time because I'm actually doing a video tonight, but a live video with the podcast. But she's gonna talk. She talks about the Orisha, and she does more of a reading as she does this particular visual album, and it's really beautiful. And the tie-in to Orishas, that's a certain aspect of spirituality. And how this ties into the King James version of the Bible and this particular book club read is because we're talking about demonology, right? And this is what has been painted on those who have practiced, now I'm bringing it back in, those who have practiced African spirituality for thousands of years. Okay, this particular aspect of believing that it's evil, black is evil, dark is evil, night is evil, the night sky and the cosmos is evil, black cats are evil, a black man, a black woman is evil. This whole scare tactic from the years comes from much of what we come to know within let's just say it, the aspects of the Bible and the fear factor and the way that it has this quest, and I'm going to call it a quest, a death quest, right? Because there can be different types of quests. It's a death quest against those who are spiritualists, those who are considered to be, as is said, a witch. So that's where we get into tying this back in to the book. Demonology of King James I with Donald Tyson, because this is a way to open up the world, if I may, open up folks within the Western world, if you want to put it that way, the land of the setting sun, as it's called by the Eastern world, and also parts of Africa. This particular land that we're in right now, that our ancestors, meaning African enslaved, were brought here in 1616 to the lands to start the 13 original colonies. Okay, so the 13 original colonies, and spark the economy of the world. Okay, this is what we're referring to, the vilification of those who were brought here and who were told to get rid of their religion, their name, their language, and then of course they were grabbed from their land. So is this political? Is this something to do with politics? No, it's not. I'm just giving you a background of what we're taking part of tonight. I just want you to know a little bit more about the aspects of spiritualism and why the demonology of King James is so important to be read and to be acknowledged right now. So without further ado, I'm going to actually get into this book club read, but I just had to go ahead and talk about that because I want to make sure that everyone under the sound of my voice or within sound ear distance of my voice knows that what my whole premise is here and gets the whole aspect of it, and why I am actually so adamant about sharing this particular word, sharing the demonology of King James I, which is a book about 3 books that were written by King James, now let me just put this in here, the one who authored, or I apologize, no, didn't author it. let me back up, going a little too fast. The one who actually authorized and published the King James Bible. So I'm going to put up, let me add a little bit of I want to put something in here because I have this imagery up here for a reason, because it gets back into our ancient scriptures, and I want to put some artwork up here about my show tonight. or more so, I'm saying a show. What am I doing? This is not a show. This is actually the book club read. It's a podcast. Let me see how this comes out. There we go. I want that to be up there for us. And this is we're on episode number 10. And I want you to see the actual copy of the book that I'm reading. And it's actually in Kindle form that I have. But if you want to actually get it in another form, or a hard copy rather, you can do that too. I went through Amazon. Amazon is, and I'm not affiliated or nothing like that. I want to share where I got my resources, because I really like this book. So let's go ahead and get into the book read. Just to those disclaimers out there, folks, please bear with me as I'm doing this, because I really want to make sure that everybody gets what's going on, because we're going through a whole transition. I want to send this nice some mystical smooches out to Beyonce, and of course the visual album Black is King, and the symbolism there, the reverence of the ancestors, the reverence of the spiritualism of the ancestors. So I thank you. I salute you. As a matter of fact, I give you a formal, there we go, bow down in reverence for you and your beliefs, and you're bringing forward and bringing us into this new era. We appreciate you, sis. We appreciate you, goddess and queen. We appreciate you. Thank you for your part in this. So with that being said, I want to put out and say, we can see right here, Witches and Demons of the King, episode number 10 is what we're on. Again, the book is The Demonology of King James I. As you can see, that's the book cover. And I'm going to get into just a little bit now. I'm rusty. I must say that I am rusty on my Shakespearean theater. So please bear with me as I read through it. And I've been having to start over because, I'm getting there. But it seems like after like 30-something years, the mind of a crone kind of gets to another level. So please forgive the little juju woman as she tries to remember the thespian aspect of self and kind of get through this. So we thank you. So this is going to be, now we're in book 1. So just to set it up a bit more, is that the Witches and Demons of the King is a series here, and we're in episode 10 of the CWC book club. And this is our read, which is The Demonology of King James I. So you'll see me put this particular artwork up quite a bit, because I want to make sure that you see the actual book cover. So when you go out there to get it, I'm going to actually let me look back and see if we got anybody out here. I don't want to ignore folk out there if they come in for the chat. I don't have anyone yet, but and when you do pop in, I want to be able to see you. Okay, not anyone yet. It says here, okay, hold on a second. It's saying it's disconnected. So let me see what's going on with my chat. I hope people are able to come in here and see. I'm gonna say welcome, and if I'm spelling things wrong, I'm moving fast, y'all, because I even think I put Witches and Demons of the King. Let me see if I can edit that. I didn't put my C in there. Oh, it's actually on there, but I think that when you go live, it doesn't allow it to change it. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what Mama talking about. So it's okay. I'm gonna leave it as is. I put an age restriction on this because I don't want certain people to get into this. It says the chat is disconnected, and I wonder why. Maybe people aren't supposed to chat in tonight, but I'm gonna just still say welcome to the CWC. Let's see, book club live chat. I really hope that people can get in. I really hope. Let me see if I start it, maybe it'll come up. I have no idea why it says disconnected, but anyway, it says live, so we're gonna leave it like it is. And it says we have a good connection, so they told me to look for that. I got my green on there, so hey, it is what it is. I don't know why that happened, but either way, if it's not meant for a chat tonight, it just is what it is. But I want to welcome you all. I am the Maven, and I am here to help those who will, whosoever will, let them come. That is a very poignant spiritual song. I wanted to see if I was gonna call it Negro spiritual or just a gospel song. the song is "Whosoever will, let him come, let him come," because we don't really, when I say we, meaning spiritualists, anyone who is into magical arts, things of that nature, from our perspective, from the life perspective. Of course, you have death energy, and then of course you have the life energy. From a life perspective, we don't really try to force people into anything. You have to be willing, is what we like to say. So it's more so like, whosoever will, let him come, let her come, let her come. And there was this song that I grew up with, and as I try to sing it, hey, I love songs. That's why I'm JL song. So whosoever will, let him come, let him come. Whosoever will, let him come. Whosoever will, let him come, let him come and drink of the waters of life. Okay, so that is there and seen, but that's really the song. It's very it's gospel. It's back in the day, and if you willing, you come. If not, then you know what, we bid you farewell and adieu. You welcome to stay, but it's like, if you will, if this is what you want to be a part of, then let's do it. Even the master magician, Jesus or Yeshua, as some call that particular person of that era, that personage, as well, that particular persona, said, will thou be made whole? Will thou be healed? You must ask when you talk about a life energy. When you're talking about life energy, ask a person's permission. It's like a spiritual courtesy. So if you will, then please come, and we will help you. We will be able to help you to get to navigate the waters of life that are the current era, the here and now. So let's get into the read. Okay, this was a preachy one tonight because I felt the need to do it since I'm on video. So let's get into the read. Again, cue the lights. I'm gonna put this light, let me see if I can do this light like that. Let me see. I don't want it to be spooky pooky like I said, but I do want, let me see. I don't want too much light. I think that I want to leave that light on actually. So I'm going to get into I'm still in book 1. I'm into book 1 and chapter 2. Now this is actually the demonology in 3 parts. 3 books rather, in the form of a dialogue of King James, written in 1597. So I'm going to actually get into it, and I'm going to read from a thespian type of. It has actually a old English styling, with Shakespearean flair. So and this is from my theater days in high school, being a Shakespearean thespian. So it was long ago, so bear with me. If I start over, please know that please charge it to my head and not my heart and my experience. I've never really did acting or anything like that within like a guild, an acting guild, or after high school, college days or anything. I didn't even do it like in college. They had the thing, and I was tempted too. I was tempted, but I didn't do it. I don't know. I think because I was doing more the science art instead of, I don't know, but anyway, yes, I didn't do it, but that's interesting because I was interested after college. I was interested in doing certain things within a guild, and I actually found a Shakespearean guild in my city, which is very interesting. I was just driving and all of a sudden I see it, so that's a sidebar. I'm sidebarring a lot tonight, guys. All right, so here we go, chapter 2 of book 1. And it's the argument. It's still the conversation between Epistemon and Philomathus. Okay, so the argument: what kind of sin the practitioners of these unlawful arts commit, the division of these arts, and what are the means that allure any to practice them? That's the question. Now this is the next part. Let's go. Philomathus. I am Philomathus. But I think it very strange that God should permit any of mankind, since they bear his own image, to fall into so gross and filthy a defection. Epistemon. Although man in his creation was made to the image of the Creator, Genesis 1, yet through his fall, having lost it, it is but restored again in a part by grace only to the elect. So all the rest, falling away from God, are given over into the hands of the devil, into the hands of the devil, that enemy, to bear his image, and being once so given over, the greatest and the grossest impiety is the most pleasant and most delightful unto them. Philomathus. But may it not suffice him to have indirectly the rule, and procure the perdition of so many souls by alluring them to vices and to the following of their own appetites? Suppose he abuse not so many simple souls in making them directly acknowledge him for their masters. Epistemon. No, surely, for he uses every man whom of he has the rule, according to their complexion and knowledge, and so whom he finds most simple, he most plainly uncovers himself unto them. For he, being the enemy of man's salvation, uses all the means he can to entrap them so far into his snares as it may be impossible to them thereafter, suppose they would, to rid themselves out of the same. Philomathus. Then this sin is a sin against the Holy Ghost. Epistemon. It is in some, but not in all. Philomathus. How that? Are not all these that run directly to the devil in one category? Epistemon. God forbid it. God forbid. For the sin against the Holy Spirit has two branches. The one, a falling back from the whole service of God, and a refusal of all his precepts. The other is the doing of the first with knowledge, knowing that they do wrong against their conscience, and the testimony of the Holy Spirit, having once had a taste of the sweetness of God's mercies. Hebrews 6:10. Now in the first of these two, all sorts of necromancers, enchanters, or witches are commended, but in the last, none but such an error with this knowledge that I have spoken of. Philomathus. Then it appears that there are more sorts than one that are directly professors of his service, and if so be, I pray you tell me how many and what are they? Epistemon. There are principally two sorts, whereunto all the parts of the unhappy are redacted, whereof the one is called magic or necromancy, and the other sorcery or witchcraft. Philomathus. What, I pray you, and how many are the means whereby the devil allures persons into any of these snares? Epistemon. Even by those three passions that are within ourselves: curiosity at great ingenuities, thirst of revenge for some offenses deeply held, or greedy appetite of possession caused through great poverty. As to the first of these, curiosity is only the enticement of magicians or necromancers, and the other two are the allures of the sorcerers or witches. For the old and crafty serpent, being a spirit, he easily spies our affections, and so conforms himself unto thereto to deceive us to our weakness. Okay, and scene. Okay. I did a little better on that one, everybody. Okay. So what we have here, I'm going to go back a bit and let me see. I don't have anyone, and I'm going to have to look into this because it's saying that I don't have a chat, so maybe that would mean that I don't see anybody, but that's okay. We're doing this live, and I want to just put it out here so people will even know that there's a live going on. So that being said, that particular read was, let me just cue my music back up here so we can get a little background. But that read there was getting more into, like I said, chapter 2 of book 1, getting more into the dialogue about the actual aspect of what the discussion should be when it comes to witches. And we're going to get into, now I said I wasn't going to do it before. I didn't want to do any of the references, the notes, because in my opinion I'd have to actually go to the note and then bring in the note. I kind of read it before, but I'm not going to go into it. But what I want to say is that the reason why I want to do this is I want to bring you into the aspect of what theater is when it came to that era. That was an era. This is an era piece. Back then, it was more so about the theater, acting out things. Sometimes, and you might know this or maybe not, but sometimes there was an aspect of the fact that the commoners or the villagers or those who lived in hamlets, they were not allowed to read for very obvious reasons. If you want to take over any group of people, pretty much you want them to be illiterate, so they will not be able to educate themselves, and they will be able to fall into your service, if you can put it that way. So that's another day, another discussion. I won't even go there. But a lot of these people who were considered to be the populace could not read, and they had to have theatrical acting. That's where we get into Shakespeare. That's where we get into that particular aspect of theater and the like. So when we talk about the King James Bible and the way that this is even written in the form of a dialogue, that's kind of where they were going when they get into the form of a actors guild. And at that time, what they had was they called them pageants, actually, and that's why I brought up Christmas pageant earlier to tie it into this. They called them pageants because they had a company or acting guild that would actually travel in covered wagons. And they would actually, there was a time when they would, take the back off the wagon, like the little cover, and then they would actually turn that into a stage. And then they would do the acting. So this is where it comes from, this particular dialogue, which is really a script. And thereby getting into the aspect of the scriptures. So there I said it, there I let the cat out of the bag. We call them scriptures because we're actually witnessing stories being told of many different religious practices from all over the world. As I mentioned, the King James Bible is a pantheon, pan meaning many, all, and then theos meaning God. So all, many gods, pantheos, pantheon. So that's what the King James Bible presents to us, and it presents it in the form of acting, in the form of acting out spirits, acting out the cosmological dance of the sun, the moon, the stars, the constellations, the planets. So that's really what it stems from, and that era was very heavy off into that. So and I really felt good doing that because it's been a long time since I got into that aspect of myself. So thank you for allowing me kind of reawaken that within myself. But bringing it all home, the scriptures that we know of within the King James Bible, that later on I'm going to show how they are actual scripts, because a lot of them have epilogues, prologues, and epilogues. And anyone who is into the theater and who knows can attest to this. There's a prologue, there's an epilogue, there's a somewhat of a narration. Those who are familiar with plays and especially the ones of yesteryear, there's different ways plays are put on now, but there used to be a person sometimes that would narrate things of that nature. I got a little bit of a song in the background. Hold on a second, y'all. I didn't know my phone was still on. Since we live, but you got to have everything that's involved. Hello, the man. Hold on a second. I got a show going on. Can I pause this? Hold on, let me pause it. Okay, hold on. we're in the show. I don't know if I can pause this. I can. No, we like something. And that's the thing. Me and Sheldon couldn't think of anything because he was sleeping, and I was, doing some of my stuff on Thursday nights. Okay, that sounds good. Do you think you'll be able to get some almond milk in there too? Hello? Huh? No, don't do that. That's what I'm asking, baby. You just gotta say yes or no, baby. Okay, that's no problem. Oh, it's fine. That's fine, babe. That's fine. All right. Love you. Thank you. See you in a bit. Okay. Bye-bye. All right. And we're back. Okay, so that's when you got live. That's what can happen. I got a phone call that I had to take because it was from the man. So yes, the man. So you definitely can't not speak to the man. But either way, let me see here. Back. I love this. I love doing live. So here we are. Let's get more into the aspect of the theater and how the scriptures are definitely correlate with that. And it's a situation where if we get into realizing that we're dealing with literature when we talk about the King James Bible and having this particular background. Now this background is going to help us to be able to how should I say, to grasp the aspects of the here and the now. We're going to be able to bring things forward from back in the day, and we're also going to be able to wake up to the here and now and be able to grow in that. So lots of people are going to be able to come to the knowledge of the truth through this experience, and then they're going to wake up. There's going to be this great awakening, and as I mentioned, some people are going to move forward in that and be okay with it, and some people might not. And you know what? It's okay. All we have to do is make sure that we are respectful of that, in my opinion. We have to be respectful of the fact that some people are not going to be on board with it, and we're out of that era where we are how can I put it, where we are trying to make people do things. That's a different era. That's even within this actual King James era. We don't want to be in a position where we're trying to make somebody do anything. We don't want to be in that position. We want to be in a position where whosoever will, let them come, whosoever will, let them come. You know, you gotta let them come. If they don't want to come, then just let it be. It's all right. So that way you're not toiling in the spirit. That's the big part about it. Don't toil in the spirit. You don't have to toil in the spirit. People don't want to experience something, then they won't do it, and it's okay. So we're going to get out of that warfare mode. We're going to get into a mode now where things are more pleasant. Things are more it brings you life and not the death energy. And therein we're going to get back into the aspects of mounting and spiritual housing. Okay, so again, I come from a background of voodoo, the actual spiritualism that is from the ancestors that came over to the Americas by way of West Africa. And when we say West Africa, that's what's being acknowledged now. But we're going to be looking at the full continent of Africa. And not physically right now, but just in our minds. Let's go there in our mind's eye, okay? And let's think about the full continent of Africa, okay? I don't care what political boundaries were broke off, and you get into the aspect of who is this and what's this name, and politically, that's for politics. But when you come to a people and their heritage and their land, we're talking more so about the aspect of a people and their essence and the governance under the cosmology that guides us. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. We're not getting into the whole aspect of the political boundaries. Okay, that's just there for us to acknowledge within this physical flesh coat. Okay, that's okay. But from a perspective of a people and DNA and the red blood and the blue blood that comes together within our bodies. Okay, which I love that symbolism in Black is King. When you see the two facing each other, they represent the blue blood and the red blood. I don't know who is aware of that, and that intertwining that is a DNA structure. I mean, the symbolism of Black is King, I'm gonna go back there again, is completely amazing, right? The symbolism of Black is King is amazing. So I want to make sure that people are acknowledging that we're talking about a bloodline, a heritage, a lineage, a culture, a creed, ancestry. When we talk about the continent of Africa and those who come from there. Now, I shared in a prior video about an experiment that was done in Illinois, my birth state, and there was these seashells that were brought over from the East Coast out of the ocean, and then when they got to the Illinois, in Evanston, Illinois, University project and experiment, they saw that they were able to open and close even as they were when they were on the East Coast, and then they realized they were being governed by the moon or by the cosmos. And when you think about the aspect, even if you bring us out of Africa, and you still have that blood within yourself, then we're still going to have that we're going to open it. We're still going to be governed by the cosmos. It doesn't matter. It's still within your blood cells. So what Beyonce in the Black is King is sharing with us is that aspect and that connection to Africa that will never leave us. And even in her dialogue, you will be able to experience and witness, and then have certain DNA synapse within your brain, even be able to open up and libate with it, and cell libate, as I say, celebrate, but cell libate with that particular knowledge if you allow yourself to be open. Okay, and it doesn't matter who you are. That you can, and I'm going to say that again. I know people might say, "Well, I'm just an African American." No, it doesn't matter who you are. If you can connect with spirit, because we're going to have to start getting away from the whole flesh coat symbolism, because that's for physical. We're talking straight spiritualism here. Okay, this is complete spiritualism. So we don't have to worry about any aspect of the spirit realm having this same body. As a matter of fact, we and if those who are knowledgeable about spiritualism, you know that we're reincarnating. We've been here. I've shared myself that I've been here for thousands of years. This spirit within me has been here for thousands of years. Spirit showed that to me. I've had witness of my past deaths. Being a spiritualist, this has followed me throughout my experience spiritually, and throughout the reincarnations. I've been in this position for quite some time of being a spiritualist. As I mentioned before, I've been burned. I've even showed my burn. Now, this is a burn I've had now, but I'm always having experiences with fire now. I've been burned. I've been poisoned. I've been hung by the neck until dead. These things, and I still have those cell memories. Sometimes I'll feel I'm just like maybe eating something. I feel like, oh, I'm choking. I mean, I knew, and it's because of that cell memory, which you have to be cleansed of. That's a whole other thing, topic. But if you watch this particular this video, Black is King, then you'll be able to see that there is so much symbolism within it, and it's touching many people. So when we get away from the whole color aspect, we start thinking about either there's life spirituality or death spirituality, then we'll come to know that this is something that we are privy to from a spiritual perspective. Now, in this physical body, in the flesh coat, we are going to have certain barriers and boundaries, and we're all going to be different hair textures, different eye colors, different skin colors. We are going to have that experience, and you can try to experiment with it and be able to dilute it and stuff like that. And my ancestry would be African and French and Irish and all that kind of stuff. That particular ancestry in the Creole, and how they were trying to make us mulattoes and octoroom and quadroom. They had a whole racial recipe. I'll share that on another video, but they had a whole racial recipe where we were able to make I'm considered to be I'm not octoroon. I'm actually might be quadroon. I mean, you'd use a name. It's just a way to mix up the black blood, or they called it Negro blood, with either a Caucasian and it didn't have to be Caucasian. It could be French. It could be Dutch, but mostly it was French because they were experimenting with the Frenchmen. and they would impregnate the African Negro woman, and then you would get African, and I'm gonna get into this deeper in another time, but if you do African or Negro, as they said, Negro and a French, that would make a mulatto. And if you do a mulatto and then a French, then that would make a octoroon, no, a quadroon. And if you do a quadroon and a French, then you make a octoroon. I mean, they had a whole racial recipe. I'm not making this up, folks. This is real, because this is my history, my heritage, which I was able to find out with being Creole. And the French and the African, and then they mixed up, and then they went to Haiti to start the whole island. That's why they've been fighting over that island forever. And that's a whole other history, y'all. We'll talk about that another time. But this aspect, it doesn't matter what this flesh coat looks like and what the color of it is, whether you're mulatto, you're octoroon, quadroon, it does not matter. It doesn't matter. You Marmaluk, it's pronounced interestingly, but when you hear that song, Creole Lady Marmalade, she was actually Lady Marmalade. She was actually Marmalade because she was actually a part of octoroon and probably quadroon. I think that's what makes Marmalade. So these were actual racial recipes, okay, the breeding thereof. And I have a whole other video to talk about the breeding thereof of the physical flesh coat, so that you can get to the position where you don't have the African anymore, the Negro. We're trying to get rid of the black. The black is evil. It's the dark night is evil. So this whole aspect. So that's when we get back into the King James Version of the Bible, which is, as we may or may not know, witches were mostly women, and of course they were Negro women. We're going to get into that. That's a whole other aspect that I'll be sharing. Negro women, witch doctors, because they were Negro and they were of the dark continent of Africa. The dark is evil. It's bad. Their religion is bad, and we must save the witches. We must, the very vulgar, and all this other kind of stuff was going on. But these flesh coats, they tried to change for whatever reason. But we're dealing in spirit realm, and that's why they took the religion of the ancestors and wanted to dilute them out. But the religion of the ancestor was in voodoo, aspects of voodoo and the Orisha, and they use that spiritualism because it's the strongest spiritualism in the world. That's why the King James Bible is full of it. Okay, it's full of it, and they acted it out in the form of scripture, a script. But it is a way for them to keep a hold of the essence thereof, and then dilute the person. But back to my example of the oyster that came from the East Coast to Evanston, they were still able to open. Right? They were still able to open, as is we who are considered to be octoroon, quadroon, Marmaluk. It doesn't matter. We still have the essence thereof of spirituality, and that's why they always tried to suppress it. They always wanted to make it where we couldn't read, things like that, but it still came through in the essence. They never really quite got how to keep us from being who we are, but to be able to take that from us would be like, that's impossible. It's like taking the color out of an oyster. If something is natural, it's just natural. And no matter how they try to dilute the blood, it's still there. So, why? It's because they're looking at physical, but what we're dealing with is spiritual. Okay? We're dealing with spiritual. So therein lies the conundrum, the constant conundrum of a people who wanted to just disenfranchise another group of people, and so on and so forth. And it's not just that aspect of it. It's different ways of disenfranchisement all over the globe, all over the planet, all over the world. However, this particular paradigm that we're referring to is the paradigm of spiritualism and how it ties into a people and how you'll never be able to take that out of their DNA. So if you watch Black is King, you're coming into the aspect of knowledge of spirituality in the Orisha, which are also called the Lua, the Eluwa and the Elohim. The Lua and the Lua, and it might be pronounced differently for certain people, but I say Lua. Okay, so the Loa, L-O-A, and it's also spelled L-W-A, is what the King James Bible uses in its explanation of religion. And we must realize that even though it looks differently, it's spoken in a different dialect or the Old English styling, and you have your wherefores and wherethous and things of that nature, you're still dealing with the primal essence of spirituality, which comes from the motherland. And it's not just the West Coast, because they want to talk about Togo land, they want to talk about Benin, Dahomey as the origin, but it was moved to the West Coast from the East. When we get into the aspect of what was considered to be Egypt and Mesopotamia and Sumeria and all of those places, that is actually pushed over because of what? Political boundaries and colonization. So that is an aspect that is a physical, okay, the physical land, the physical body, the physical mind, the physical being as we know it. But when we talk about spirituality, that just transcends everything. Okay, so when we get into this, and I'm pointing to my tablet here because this is where I have my the King James story, right? The dialogue, the work. But when we get into this script, the primal essence of it is spirituality. And then before the King James Bible was even authorized and published by King James Stuart, King James the first of England and the sixth of Scotland, before King James Bible version was authorized and published, right, there was this work, this demonology work. And why? Because he was trying to, and this is my take on it, so this is something that I didn't really read, but I have to intuit some things here. He was, in my opinion, was trying to break down the aspect of spirituality of those who were the natives or the original people of the continent of Africa. That's basically what was going on, what is now called Africa. Okay, the motherland, right? He was trying to get into the mind of a spiritualist, and he called it a demon, right? And then there's another aspect of it, and I think one of my spiritual personalities on social media, Ashira, Star Goddess, she talked about how demon, and I don't believe I read this anywhere, demon actually means genius. And I think that's an aspect that I can see. I'm going to research it more, but I just actually saw one of her videos and I heard her say that. So shout out to Ashira Star Goddess. She's really great. I've been watching her for like almost 10 years. But however, when you think about that, the demon actually means genius. So it is in my opinion, it is very interesting that King James continued to be obsessed with witches and his take on witches, which were mostly, again, women, okay? And you can do the research and you'll see it was women that were considered to be the witches, females, the feminine aspect were the witches. And then, of course, my take on it was the dog continent of Africa. That's why back in the day when they had the spiritualists and the shamans and those who were considered to be, well, there's different names for them. Priests, that's why they even use the word priests. They use priests, but that's something that's kind of ancient. The Babaloa, they were called witch doctors. Okay, so notice that word witch coming up again, which just means wise woman, wise man, but mostly wise woman. So this was a take or attempt. And this podcast is running over tonight because I'm also doing a live. But this is an attempt, in my opinion, by the king to dig into the mind of spiritualists and use that particular powerful, and I'm going to say it again, powerful spiritualism. How can I wield that so I can take over the world? That's really what was going on. When you have someone who deals more with baneful magic, and I learned baneful magic from another persuasion because I started kind of watching. Because, sometimes you get into your own world, your own people, and, your own culture, and sometimes you don't really delve in other areas. You're like, oh, what can they tell me? Because I'm, whatever. But something told me this particular night to delve into some of the other channels of the other persuasion. So I was like, okay, let me see what they're talking about. So I started saying, what do they think about voodoo? And I actually looked up a video on someone who was talking about voodoo. And this particular person, I'm not going to say the name, I'm not going to share the video, but you can check yourself. But this particular person, actually, a gentleman, I'm going to put it nicely, because you know what, I want to have respect, because I'm really thankful for his knowledge and information. But this particular person said that they use voodoo for baneful magic. And because people were saying, well, voodoo is a cultural thing, and they were saying, do you have to be black to a person of color to study voodoo? Do you have to be from Africa? Do you have to be from Haiti to study voodoo? And he used the Orisha, which they actually call the Loa, from what is said to be voodoo. I have my take on it. I think that the aspect of the gods or goddesses, or the Loa in this case, the Loa, have been skewed through the years, and I don't believe that they're original, the ones that we're allowed to know, because a lot of the known information is held deep in secret. It's over in that library over there, or across the pond. I'm gonna put it that way. Keep it nice and politically correct, but across the pond. So that's over in the library across the pond. So y'all, good luck with that. So but when you have people who have studied this and who have it in their DNA, then you're able to get the information and know that certain things might not be quite right, although names may change, but the spirit thereof is going to remain the same. So I'm saying all this to say, this particular young man, he talked about how he was using voodoo for baneful magic. And I was like, okay, I was listening to him, and like I say, it was other persuasion, and he talked about all these evil things he did and how he had killed people, and and how people were killed. He didn't say he killed people. Let me take that back. He said that people were killed, or people had died because of this experience that he had, or this ritual that he did, and he used voodoo. And I listened to him, and I said, you know what, I don't want to disregard what he's saying. I want to listen to his experience. But the way that he described it, it was more so, in my opinion, it was a experience with an entity that might not have been necessarily from voodoo, because voodoo, in the essence of, even when you say Orisha, because they use Orisha, it's more common, even in Black is King, Beyonce's video, they use the aspect of Orisha and that thought process, which really still comes from the Loa in voodoo. But they use that as the spirits. But there is a way to use baneful magic. Me being a spiritualist and an occultist, I know that there is. It's just baneful magic doesn't mean death magic, that you're using it solely to take another's life or to bring them harm. And then of course there's life magic or light magic, and you go between the worlds. But this particular person was using he said baneful magic against other people. And I listened to him really well, and I'm saying, you know what, I don't believe that he was dealing necessarily with voodoo. I don't believe he was dealing with the ancestral spiritualism at all, because we all have our ways of harnessing energies. And what he called it voodoo, I think that it was an aspect thereof, but I don't believe that it was actually the spirits thereof in many ways. Now it could have been, again, I know a lot, but I don't know everything. But I'm saying all this to say, the spirituality that is from the ancestors that we're referring to at this given time has to flip back over into a balance in regards to life and death, and we're experiencing both of those worlds right now. So but there's a take on it now that where I say mama's home. And what I mean by that is mama's home is that we are dealing now with a more so of a feminine energy. And y'all know how it is, like, and many of you may or may not, but when mama come home after mama get off work, and she coming in, she letting up blinds, and she seeing who took the garbage out and who did the dishes and who took care of the chores, she said, and who got their homework done and all this other kind of stuff, and she's cleaning up a little bit, and she throws on that apron. This is my experience anyway. And then she started getting in the kitchen and moving around and doing food and stuff like that. I believe that aspect of the feminine is back here in the land, and it's here to clean house. And those who are dabbling in what considered to be spiritualism and the ancestors, and who claim that they're using that same spiritualism, got to be careful with that kind of thing, because you're dealing with a sacred ritual that has been pilfered for a while. But many people are coming on board with, like, you know what, I'm going to give this back. I'm giving this back because my time is up. So if you're in a position where you're using spiritualism for your own personal reasons, I'm just going to leave it out there. Just think on that thing, okay? Think on that thing, because we're in a position now where things are going to be balancing out, because the Great Mother is back. And she has been in a position of being, I want to say, a sex slave. I can put it that way. A sex slave for a long time. People have been able to come and just take what they want from her, because she's been tied up. She's been used disrespectfully. But now she's gaining back her dignity, and she's cleaning the house. So those who are not on board with this new era where it's flipped back over to that mother energy, then you're going to just have to be careful. Okay, so that's what this whole the 2020 year is about. It's about cleaning house. It's about putting ourselves in the perspective of getting in a balance, getting in harmony with nature, as it once was, and will continue to be. So we're in harmony. We're getting to the place of harmony. But what I want you to remember is that within this scripture, within these scriptures of the King James Bible, is a secret code that we're unlocking now. The metaphysical Bible scripture and studies, those are going to come out like never before. So get ready for it. But what we're doing with the book club read is we're making sure that you get into the mind of a man. I always say that. The mind of King James Stewart, and who that particular persona was at the time, and his mission for an era and a season. Right? A season. So we're at our 400 years as of last year, 2019. Now we're moving forward outside of that, and Mama is home, and Mama is taking names, and she's cleaning up. So whatever you're doing that is not in line with what this era is about, you need to get on board. I'm telling you that right now. That's a message and channeling for you to get on board, and it's going to be okay, because we're in a great day now, as long as you're in line with what Mama's talking about. So I am the mother. I have the mother fragrance. I am the mother energy, and I feel that, and I'm channeling that down for you, and we're going to be just fine as long as you're doing what Mama say do. It's going to be fine. The mother, of course, of the cosmos, Mother Africa, Mother Globe, and the goddess. So I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you for allowing me to do my reading. This was a little bit more of a theatrical aspect of the book club read. We're going to continue to unravel it. And as so much information needs to get out, thank you for your patience as well. I want to, next time we're going to have an open chat. Maybe there's a reason why I couldn't do the chat tonight, but usually it's open and available, but tonight it was not. It says chat disconnected. Please wait while we try to reconnect you, successfully connect. Okay, so it says connected. So at this point, no one came in, and that's okay. We're doing some new age type of new era type of things, and sometimes it's like kind of a little still spooky pooky for people, but you know what, I'm going moving forward, because the year 2020 is going to be about getting people to up to speed. We're going to be able to get you this information, get you this knowledge that they would never have taught you within schools, within churches, within mosques, within congregations. You wouldn't have learned a lot of these things, so now we're going to get a lot of people who they're going to be their personal knowledge that's getting out there, so many people can glean from it, and then we can help with the knowledge and experience that we've had and the things that we know. So thank you so much for coming and tuning in. This is the CWC Book Club Show. This is the Christian Witch Connection podcast. It was live tonight, and we had our platform for the podcast itself going. We also have Bible Magic 8 TV. I am the Maven, grassroots metaphysician, spiritualist. I am also a priestess, a medium, a prophetess. I am an oracle, and I'm going to be channeling so much more for you all. I want to just let you know that I know that many people find this daunting at times, and I get it. But it's an era that's here, and it's going to stay here. It's not going nowhere. So we're going to keep moving forward through it, and we're going to be okay. Even though, as I mentioned, the Great Mother is here. She is here to hug you as well, and love on you, and let you know that when you're doing well and when you're not doing well, which is not doing well, is just not being in your purpose. And we were going to try to get everyone up to speed to walk in their purpose. The puppet strings, the puppet masters are actually falling off. They're falling away, and now we're going to have to come into our real personhood. And I think about the story of Pinocchio, and the puppet master was there, and that was actually as simple as code. All of the Disney films are code, by the way. So the puppet master is there, and then all of a sudden you come into being a real person, a real boy, a real woman. So this is what this is about. The puppet strings are leaving, and now you're coming into your own, and you're going to have some people who are able to deal with that, some people who are not, and that's okay. We're going to be respectful of every energy, every spirit, every being with where they are. So thank you so much for coming through. This is the CWC Book Club show with the Christian Witch Connection podcast. We're in episode 10 of Witches and Demons of the King, and I'm going to correct this spelling up here too. I'm typing fast. I put in Withes, W-I-T-H-E-S. We're going to change it to Witches and Demons of the King. So bear with me as a little juju woman as she tries to come out and do this technology and get out my little spiritual corner with my little pot and all that kind of stuff. We want to get in here, get some more videos out there, and get some more time with my folks out here. All right, all the best to you, and get Witches and Demons of the King. That's why I wanted to put that book cover up there, and so you can get a chance to understand the mind of a man, King James Stewart. Last name was Stewart, the King James the First of England and the Sixth of Scotland, and we're going to be unraveling this the more, because this year is the year 2020 is the year to get all this out in the open, what we're actually reading, what we're actually knowing, and we're gonna get some next time we're gonna get some people on here, and we're gonna get some questions, and we're gonna get some people who actually read the book, because we're just gonna get more knowledge on this, y'all. We moving forward through it. All right, I bid you adieu. I wish you well. Be safe out there within this this experience that we're having. Be safe. All is well. All the best to you. Take care. turn this off? Baby wants me to keep rolling.
All right.
Keep it rolling. How do you turn this off? Baby wants me to keep rolling.
All right.
Keep it rolling. How do you turn this off? Baby wants me to keep rolling.
All right.
Keep it rolling. How do you turn this off? I'm on here a couple of times. Oh, the choo-choo woman ain't got it right.
Keep it rolling. How do you turn this off?
Choo-choo woman ain't I'm on here a couple of times. Oh, the choo-choo woman ain't got it right.
Keep it rolling. How do you turn this off?
Choo-choo woman ain't I'm on here a couple of